This series of films is aimed at three groups of people. The first are those who have become interested in either tarot or skepticism in general and would like to learn more about them. The second are those who would class themselves as skeptics but who don't know a great deal about tarot. The third are those tarot readers who wish to understand the position of skeptics, what their arguments are, and why they feel that they should target tarot reading. I will end with a conclusion that is aimed squarely at the skeptic, proposing a course of action for those who are so inclined. So, let's begin with what it is that tarot cards are usually thought to be, or at least are presented as being. Most of us have seen them at some time, a pack of cards in two parts. The first, often called the minor arcana, which bears some similarity to our playing cards, indeed tarot is often cited as their origin, but featuring cups, swords, pentacles and wands as their suit signs, and with an extra court card featuring a knight. The second, and altogether more notorious part, often known as the major arcana, consists of a sequence of 22 pictures, numbered from 0 to 21. These picture cards feature such figures as the Fool, the Magician, the Devil, and the Hanged Man. They are said to be laden with esoteric wisdom, codified within their numerous symbols. The origin of tarot cards is usually described as mysterious, or at least uncertain, with various popular theories seeing print and broadcast, with suggestions that they come from ancient Egypt or the Far East, and frequently claiming that they represent the Kabbalah. A more recent trend, popularized by Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, is the belief that cards somehow represent the Grail myth of Christ's bloodline. Tarot cards are used in a number of ways. The first is to represent various occult and spiritual beliefs. It is this use, together with the stories of an occult origin, that for most people gives the cards a greater credibility in other uses. The most widely recognized use for tarot cards is what is called tarot reading. Typically the cards will be shuffled and cards taken from the top of the pack, which are then placed in a pattern on the table. This pattern is called a spread, and each position in the spread is taken to govern some element of the query, such as past events and people of influence. Each tarot card has attributed to it a variety of possible meanings. The reader will then use these meanings, together with the card's positions in the spread, to construct a narrative in answer to the query. It is worth noting that the possible narratives that can be constructed from any spread of cards is incalculable, both because the range of possible meanings for each card, but also because they are open to broad interpretation by the reader as to how they apply to the query. In recent years, tarot reading has increasingly encompassed non-supernatural application, using the cards to meditate or reflect upon personal matters, even using them in a similar fashion to ink blot tests. However, these applications, while novel, are not very controversial and are not of great interest to the skeptic, though most skeptics would probably consider it wiser to consult an accredited professional for psychological problems and accept their judgment on the usefulness of tarot for such treatment. I mention this because it is sometimes given by people defending tarot reading against skeptics, but as it is so clearly distinct from those claims that are the subject of skeptical inquiry, it is irrelevant and constitutes no defense of them. The most common form of tarot reading is what is most recognized by the public and the popular media: divination. Divination, popularly known as fortune-telling, has been practiced using many things from knucklebones to dominoes, and amounts to the attempt to acquire knowledge of the past, present, and the future by supernatural means, or at least by means not yet known to science, or strictly by the diviner. The subjects of skepticism, then, are the extraordinary claims of tarot having an ancient occult origin, and its application for divination. However, before we begin to address them, we should first address the question as to why skeptics should concern themselves with these claims and why they should pursue them rather than just leave people to believe whatever they freely prefer to believe. There are broadly two reasons for the skeptic's interest. The first is purely academic. Many skeptics are of an academic bent, and so when an extraordinary claim is made, they will want to know if there's any truth in it. The second, though, is ethical. People who believe the claims of diviners will naturally, to a greater or lesser extent, govern their actions according to the readings they receive, often for payment. This can have a dramatic effect on their lives through their relationships with friends, families, lovers, their career choices, the direction of their education, and even their health where medical advice is given. Just as there is a moral imperative to scrutinize the claims for psychiatric, psychological, surgical, and medical treatments, so there is an equal imperative to scrutinize the claims of diviners. Scrutiny of the history can also be seen as an ethical requirement, though perhaps more for the school of virtue ethics. Of course, we should not forget that an occult history of tarot may reinforce people's belief in divination. So not only do skeptics have a right to challenge the claims made, after all, a claim that is made publicly can only be expected to fall under public scrutiny, but they have both a personal interest and a moral imperative to do so.